Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Rewind that. It's your girl, Miss K. If this is your first time coming across my channel, welcome. Please be sure to subscribe if you like the vibe and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. All right, guys, today we are going over Bellaire, season 1, episode number 2, called Keep Your Head Up. All right, so the episode starts off with Aunt Viv watching a video of Will whooping Carlton's behind, okay? And Will is trying to plead his case to Aunt Viv and tell her that this is not the full story, okay? Carlton started the whole thing and I was defending myself. But Aunt Viv says, you got Carlton on his back and you didn't stop, okay? Like, you don't do that to your family, you know? And Carlton was like, that's because he's a thug. And Viv says, watch your mouth, okay? You are not innocent. Will could have drowned. So Will added that he could have been in a body bag right now if it wasn't for this John named Lisa. And once Will mentions Lisa's name, Aunt Viv already knew why the drama started and was like, oh, okay, I see. So she sends them to their rooms, but as Will leaves, Carlton stays behind and he wants to know why Aunt Viv is taking Will's side. And Aunt Viv says, I know why Will acted the way he did, but what's your excuse? And this clown Carlton, he could not answer, okay? And he just got mad and walked off. Next, Aunt Viv and Uncle Phil talk about the issue with Carlton and Will, okay? Uncle Phil says, I don't know how much of this I can take. First it's a gun and now Carlton is hurt, right? Then he says, maybe Will is just not cut out for Bellaire. And I was like, yo, the boy just got there, okay? Like, it's been practically 24 hours. Like, how can you expect the kid to adjust so quickly, all right? Anyway, so Aunt Viv, she was like, we can't send him back to Philly because it's too dangerous. So Uncle Phil was like, he doesn't have to go back home. He can go to a military school or a boarding school. Plus, we can't be trying to work so hard to save someone who doesn't want to be saved, and especially at the detriment of our own family. And Aunt Viv was like, Will is family, okay? And I know in my heart that he's not a lost cause. So Uncle Phil says that might be true, but we might not be the answer that he needs. So we're going to go and talk to him. And if his response is not satisfying to the both of us, he has to go. So they go into Will's room to talk to him, but he's facing a window and he's crying, guys, okay? When Aunt Viv asked what's wrong, he told her that his mom called to tell him that his friend Trey got shot. All right, and they don't know if he's going to make it. So this is a wake-up call for Uncle Phil especially, and he sees that they cannot send Will back to Philly. Next, it's Will's first day at Bellaire Academy, and Carlton leaves without him because Will pretty much refused to apologize. Like, he wanted to put that whole incident behind them, but he didn't feel like he should apologize because Carlton started it, all right? So because he got left, Viv decides to let Will drive one of their cars to school. Before he leaves, Aunt Viv tells Will to just be himself and be the Will who charmed West Philly with his swag and talents, right? She also tells him to leave all that street cred bullcrap behind him because that's the thing that almost ruins his life, right? So anyway, next, Will gets to school and he's trying to make friends and be sociable, but folks was pretty much ignoring him. Then he gets to this empty science lab class, and since no one shows up, he goes out into the hall trying to figure out where to go. So the school security comes and says, hey, what are you doing here? Let me see your student ID, right? And this was so stupid because it was obvious that he was a student there. And he can clearly see that Will was wearing a uniform. But anyway, flashes of the night Will got arrested started playing in Will's head. So it causes him to run from the security guard, and he runs right into an assembly where Carlton is speaking to his fellow students. So Carlton tells the security guard that Will is with him, but of course he's not really looking out for Will because he takes this opportunity to try to humiliate Will and play him like a little charity case, okay? Next, Uncle Phil has an interview with Big Boy, okay, at a radio station. But it doesn't go very well because the callers were more concerned about how rich he was than him running for district attorney, okay? And this is where he sees that he's not very popular with the black folks. All right. Next, Will wants to join the basketball team, and his cocky behind expects the coach to just let him on because he was scouted, you know. But the coach tells him that he knows about the video of him and Carlton fighting at the party, and he's not interested in the drama. He tells Will that he can try out like everyone else if he wants to prove himself. Next, Hilary has an opportunity to show off her culinary skills with Haute Cuisine. They tell her that if they consider her for the job, she's going to have to tone down her wardrobe. And before she posts anything, she has to submit her recipes for review. Then they tell her that her food was a bit too spicy, so she got to tone that down. So Hilary says, that's what people love about my cooking. Plus, my family was just complimenting my spice mix this morning. So the woman tells Hilary that she doesn't think her family is their target audience. And you can see that these aren't things that Hilary wants to hear, okay? But I will say this, right? Aunt Viv, she warned Hilary that Haute Cuisine was going to want something a little fancier than what Hilary was planning to cook, okay? But Hilary swears that she's got this in the bag, so she did what she wanted to do, okay? And don't get me wrong, guys, I don't think Hilary should have to change who she is and tone it down, but it honestly wouldn't hurt to listen sometimes, because every now and then you got to take a little backseat to certain things on your way to the top, all right? Next, Will gets to algebra class and he finally meets someone besides Lisa who isn't giving him the cold shoulder. This kid's name is Tyler, and he tells Will that it's an honor to meet him because he's been wanting to punch Connor since the 6th grade. Next, Will runs into Connor, who tells him that he has a restraining order against him. And of course, Carlton is not trying to come to the rescue. So Will says to Carlton, okay, this is your school and I'm sorry. But Carlton was like, no, it's too late now because Lisa has been going around telling people that I attacked you because I got jealous when I saw you talking to her. And Will was like, that's because that's what happens, right? And this is obviously true, guys, but Lisa did this as a favor to Will because Carlton was telling a whole nother story, which was a lie, okay? And it made Will look bad. So anyway, Carlton tells Will that he needs to fight him right here and now while he's sober because him and Lisa made him look weak. But Will was like, I'm not fighting you, bro. Then he walks away because he understands that he would lose either way, right? If he beat Carlton up again, he would lose. And if he even lost the fight with Carlton, he would lose. So either way, he just doesn't win, right? So next, Will meets up with Jazz for some one-on-one basketball to help prepare him for his tryouts. But Will's off his game because that fateful night keeps playing in his head. So he's clearly traumatized, guys. And this is when Jazz sees that something is going on. And even though he hardly knows Will, he could see that he's off his game and that there's something on his mind. So Jazz tells Will, like, you ain't got to tell me the whole story, but just tell me something, okay? So Will tells Jazz about the incident and he lets him know that he hasn't touched a ball since that night. Plus, he thinks Trey getting shot is his fault, all right? Next, Vi calls Aunt Viv and she wants to know why Carlton is targeting her son. So Aunt Viv was like, look, I got it handled. Carlton, he's grounded and it won't happen again. Vi says, you swore to me that you would look out for Will. And Viv was like, I am. So Vi says, it's still too dangerous here and I'm going to need Will to stay until Christmas break at least. She tells Aunt Viv that she's going to send the rest of his things to him if that's okay with her and Phil. So Aunt Viv was like, we got this. And please let me do this for him, right? Next, Uncle Phil asks Jeffrey what they're going to do about Will. And Jeffrey says, give him some real time to adjust, give him more than a few days. And I was like, thank you. Sheesh. Like, Uncle Phil is already ready to discard Will after only a day or so, It's unrealistic to think that he's going to get it all together that quickly, But that's because Uncle Phil is really wrapped up in this campaign and he doesn't want anything to ruin it. And I think he is really scared of that, right? Because one thing that I will say about him is that he seems to have a soft spot for Will, okay? And he did tell Aunt Viv that his heart has gone out to Will ever since his dad left, okay? But anyway, Jeffrey tells Phil that he watches Will and he sees him in his unguarded moments and he's often checking to see if he's doing the right thing. Jeffrey says to Phil, little man is trying, all right? And you need to meet him where he is. So with that advice, Uncle Phil goes outside and he sees Will shooting around, but he's missing his shots, guys, okay? So when Uncle Phil asks what's weighing on him, Will tells him the same thing he told Jazz, all right, about being bothered about the incident. But with Uncle Phil, Will added how scary the situation was with the cops. So every time he touches a ball, it plays over in his head. So Uncle Phil apologizes that Will had to go through that, but he also tells Will that he can't give up and that the easiest way to get back in the game is to get out of your own head. So after taking this advice, Will starts making buckets, okay, guys? And just like that, him and Uncle Phil are having a bonding moment, shooting around, laughing, having fun. Uncle Phil is cheering him on, encouraging him and everything. And Carlton comes out of nowhere. He's just watching from a distance, and he's clearly not happy to see his father with Will, all right? Green-eyed monster for real. Okay, so next, Hilary takes to Instagram and tells her followers during a live stream that she turned down a job offer from Haute Cuisine, okay? She tells them that she's not toning down recipes that were passed down from her grandmother just so Becky in Ohio could feel more comfortable. Then she lets them know that Haute Cuisine probably doesn't like any person of color, you know? So I thought this was pretty cool, guys, because I feel like some people, they need to be blasted, okay? Next, after taking some pointers from Tyler, Will tries out for the Bellaire Academy basketball team, and he makes a good impression and he makes the team. So next he runs into Carlton in the locker room, and Carlton is not happy to hear that Will made the team after their fight last weekend. Like, he's over here thinking that because of the whole fight thing, those chances are basically ruined at the school. So Will tells Carlton to watch out because he's coming through and he's going to make people see that Carlton's goofy behind is not really as cool as they think, you know. But Carlton definitely takes this as a threat, guys, and he leaves the locker room with a plan. So we get to the next scene, and once again, we have the annoying security guard coming at Will. But this time, he wants to check his bag, and Will is confident that he has nothing to hide. But when the security searches the bag, he finds drugs in it. So now Will is in trouble. So as he's being taken away, we see that Connor was the one who planted the drugs because Carlton clearly told him that Will needed to be handled. But not even Carlton was expecting Connor to handle things this way. All right. And that is how the episode ended, guys. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode. I mean, I thought this episode was great. I really love how so far in the first and the second episode, they have you kind of ending on like a cliffhanger where you just want to know what's going to happen next. And I love that. So every time we're picking up from where we left off. So far, this is how it's going, guys. But let me know what you guys thought about this episode. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. All right, guys, take care, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.